to make with Tua with regard to that progressions first read, etc.
Yeah, no change. You know, that, I mean, I think that's the thing that, to further answer the question, I think it's one of the things that Tua has done the best at is, somebody's thing stopped, said memory for me there, but anyway. So one of the things that he's done the best is, you know, last year, because it was a new offense, there was a lot of times where number one was open, and we just throw it to number one. Obviously, people see your, you know, how you do things, and you know you get defended certain ways, and so you have to make sure that you master the whole play and the full progression. And I think that's something that Tua has really taken to this year, and he's adapted really well. That, you know, there have been times where one's not open, and because the timing and how he's continued to work with learning the progression, but also with his feet, he's been able to progress, and you know it's been pretty seamless.
So Coach Bev, in that little segment, he defended the question about Tua Tagovailoa being a first-read quarterback by essentially saying he was a first-read quarterback and that he's getting better. But the question remains, that's what he's saying. What are defensive players and defensive coaches saying about Tua being a one-read quarterback? Listen to what Darius Slay from the Philadelphia Eagles had to say about Tua, although his accuracy is unchallenged, being a first-read quarterback.
And with Tua being a very, very accurate quarterback and great decision maker, our game plan was just basically, make him make more than one read and get on his, you know, his read fast. You know what I'm saying?
So the defensive backs from the Philadelphia Eagles going into the Eagles game, the same as the Buffalo Bills, had a game plan to make Tua look beyond his first read.
He's a great guy. He's on time. And that's what it's like. You know, he's like a Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen Drew Brees play, he's a guy that's very much on time, know how to throw in spots that's, you know, they expect the receiver to be there. So
he throws to a spot expecting a receiver to be there. That's what a lot of people have been saying about Tua from like day one, that he throws to a spot and he's a first read quarterback. Bev came out and said, yeah, that's what we kind of had him do last year. He's gotten better, but the defenses that the Miami Dolphins are playing are still looking at him as a one-read quarterback who throws to a spot. Not me. I didn't say that. You're listening to somebody who played against him on Sunday with the Philadelphia Eagles, who said their game plan was to adjust to the fact that making Tua look for his second and third reads.
Our job was like to disguise our defense as long as possible to make him second guess his read.
He said it. Our job as a defense was to ignore the motion up front, don't pay attention to it, wait until Tua decides he's going to make a move, and then once he makes a move, then go ahead and react and look to take away that first read and make him go to a second and third read. I've said that for a long time. People have gotten pissed off at me, but you can't get pissed off at me if the defenses are telling you that's what they're doing. I see so many Dolphins fans, every time I mention that, get all kinds of ticked off and try to downvote videos and try to do everything again to get me to shut up. And I'm trying to bring you the truth. The truth is, Coach Bev says, yeah, he was a one-read quarterback. Take it if it's open. But the defense is saying, hey, we've watched enough film on this guy at this point, and what we're going to do, and we feel we're confident in doing it, is taking away that first read and making him go elsewhere and disguising the defense so he doesn't know what they're going to react to. As I said in one of my past videos, you have to have great personnel to be able to do that. Some of the teams the Miami Dolphins have beaten just haven't had the personnel to execute in that manner. But it's obvious that the playoff caliber teams who have playoff caliber defenses are able to do that. It's not a suggestion. It's not a dig on Tua. It's not a dig on Mike McDaniel. It's the absolute truth. They believe, and they've shown by two big wins, not going to get into the penalties thing with Philadelphia, but they've shown that if they can take him off of his first read, it may be problematic for Tua. So what does Tua say about that? Knowing in this same press conference, Coach Bev just came out and said Tua is progressing nicely. He's beyond looking at his first read. Then you just heard a defensive back from the Philadelphia Eagles say, this is what we're going to force him to do. What did Tua say about progressing from the first read? Listen to what he says right here.
Tua, I know you played this team, about a month and a half ago, the Patriots. What can you download from that game to maybe take on? I know they played a lot of the 3 safety to try to take Tyreek out. Like as you game plan this week, different corner out there now, but how much can you copy that game plan, tweak from that, like because of how close the games are together?
All right, so reporter asked him, what are you doing to game plan for the Patriots, knowing that what they did the first time they met and what they've added with J.C. Jackson coming in now to, strengthen up their defensive secondary. J.C. Jackson, who got burned by Tyreek against the Los Angeles Chargers, but in any event, they brought in basically an all-pro cornerback to really help with their situation. So what are you going to do differently to attack the Patriots, different than that of, the Bills or the Eagles?
Yeah, I think as you look at the first game, the way they played against our offense, to me, it's they changed some of what they do defensively, but then they also got back into what they ran normally. And so we're expecting some of that. I think the most important thing for our offense is we're really going to have to hammer down, the formations, hammer down the things that we have to know. And then as we go out there, we're going to have to nail it. We're going to have to execute the plays and the plan that Mike has set out for us. And, I think the guys are excited when we're able to go out there and see things that we're not normally accustomed to seeing, because that's not what we practiced against. It's more so reverting back to your training. And, if the read doesn't tell you to throw it there, don't throw it there, continue on.
If the read isn't there, don't throw it there. We are going into the 8th week of the NFL season. 8th week of the NFL season. And Tua just said, again, almost in reinforcing himself, if the read's not there, don't take it. If the read's not there, don't take it. Which means they're anticipating during the Patriots game for them to take away the first read. It has worked with the Bills. It has worked with the Philadelphia Eagles. And so now they've got to begin anticipating that being taken away. Easier said than done. Tyreek's amazing. Waddle's amazing. But if they can do that, they think that they can keep it close. They've got the game plan now. They've seen it a couple weeks in a row. And one thing Tua said there was the guys are excited about doing something different because of things they haven't seen before. So now that tells me, and should tell you if you're dissecting these press conferences, that McDaniel has come in and said, we got to do something. We got to shake this up. These guys are on to us. Maybe we do less motion. Maybe we do more motion. Whatever it is, we have to shake this up. They understand what our offense is all about. They understand, Tua, that they're going to sit on your first read. You're going to have to really look some guys off. You're going to have to make them think this is your first read and then go over here. All of your skills, like he said, execution, all of your execution is going to have to be designed to confuse the defense, because their job, as Darius Slay said, is to confuse you. So right now we've got a Belichickian McDaniel chess match getting ready to be played on Sunday, where both of these guys have in their mind, I can stop your guy by making him go to a first read. All right, Bill, let me throw a checkmate in here. I can get my guy to go to a different read that your guys aren't thinking is going to be the read. I love this. I love that a chess match is being played, that Belichick and McDaniel both realize there's something here that the other team can't stop. And right now, who knows if Tyreek is going to play. I believe that Mike McDaniel said he is going to play. Don't know if that was a chess move to throw Bill off in terms of what he thought his coverage was going to be. I don't think that would work. Bill Belichick is he's going to scheme his defense. Doesn't matter what receiver's out there. He's going to scheme it for Tua. He is going to scheme his defense just like the Bills did, just like the Eagles did, to take away Tua's first read. Obviously, none of that matters if you don't get to the quarterback. With Matthew Judon hurt and out for maybe the rest of the season after he has his bicep surgery, I don't know if the Patriots have the horses up front like the Eagles did. Without a pass rush, it doesn't matter if Tua has 1 read, 2 reads, or 3 reads. He's going to find somebody open. It doesn't matter. You have to stop the first read, and the only reason that matters is because at that point, then you're hoping your front 4, front 7 can get pressure on Tua. If there's no pressure, it doesn't matter if you stop the first read because now he'll just look the other way. He's got time. That's what McDaniel has to hope for, that the offensive line this week, however makeshift it is, can give Tua the time, maybe bring in a fullback, maybe keep it tight ended. Whatever you need to do to give Tua time to get to that second and third progression, that's going to be a key to this game. That's what I really feel, because now people are on to what Tua's doing, what Mike McDaniel's doing, and they realize they've got to take away that first read. As I've said in another video, you're not going to stop Tyreek Hill. If he's hurt, maybe he's a little gimpy right now, but you're not going to stop Tyreek Hill. He's going to get his catches, and if he gets open, Tua's going to hit him for a bomb, and it's going to be 6. What you want to do is contain Tyreek Hill. Don't give him as many touches. Be there, be in his face as soon as he catches the ball. So the key for the Miami Dolphins to basically win at this point is to, as Tua said, execute flawlessly, give him time to look for a second and third read if it's there, and then there's no way Patriots are going to stop him. Everyone is game planning around keeping Tua off balance and confused on his first read, but that only works if you can pressure him. If you can't get pressure, he's going to pick you apart. He's going to slice and dice you down the field. There's too many weapons. So I think it's vitally important in the Patriots game. The one key to this game, usually I do 5 keys. I'm not even going to do that this week. There's one key. That one key is the offensive line, period. The offensive line, however makeshift it is, has to give Tua time. I think against the Patriots, they're not facing the Eagles front 7. I think they're going to be able to give Tua the time he needs to get through his progressions and slice and dice the New England Patriots. It may be close, but that all depends upon how much time he actually has. Running game will give him more time as well. The offensive line, key there as well. You're going to have to block. If you don't block at open holes, what good is it? I mean, we're talking about Connor Williams may or may not play, may or may not start. They're saying he will play. So, you know that Isaiah Wynn is on IR. So it's not the full offensive line. And right now, teams are drooling. They feel it coming. They think this is how he can stop Tua. Pressure up front, take away first read. You're a defensive coordinator right now, pressure up front, take away his first read. That's going to be the key. But Tua did drop some other nuggets about the team in general, so let's go over some of that stuff.
We heard that Jalen Ramsey was Scout Team Player of the Week last week. From your perspective, what was it like going against him during apparently a prolific week of practice?
Now watch when he talks about Jalen Ramsey and the smile that breaks out on his face. It's going to be exciting to see Jalen Ramsey finally take the field, for sure.
He had a really good week. Very impressive how he runs with our fast guys, how he transitions in and out of breaks with them. Some of them, it was almost mirrored while our guys were running full speed. And for him to break down on a dime the way that they break down is very impressive. So
that is a sight to see. You're telling me he can cover Tyreek Hill foot in a foot race? He can go right with him and break him down? That's some exciting news.
We're hopefully getting that guy wrenched up to go into the game, or hopefully we get him back sometime soon.
That is incredible. Guy tears his knee apart, and within a couple months, he's back out on the field. That tells me that maybe it's not crazy that Aaron Rodgers will be back for the Jets as well. I don't know what's going on in medicine these days. I don't know how these guys are doing this. It's almost superhuman. When I had my, medial MCL, I had a medial collateral ligament, and I had to get scoped, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to play again. It took forever for it to heal. Modern medicine is just amazing, and the fact that Jalen Ramsey is even being thought of playing and seemingly has all of his speed back as well, that is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm sure the Dolphins are just loving that. So one thing they're not loving, and we know this for a fact, is being forced into participating with Hard Knocks. I don't know why the NFL is doing this. To me, it's a huge distraction. It's one thing to be on Hard Knocks during preseason. It's another to be on Hard Knocks in season. Hey guys, we're preparing for these games that actually mean something. These aren't preseason games. These aren't guys getting cut. You want to be in my face with a camera? I don't think so. I mean, somebody like Tyreek will eat it up with his podcast and him playing for the cameras. I'm sure Tyreek's going to eat it up, but that's not something that obviously Tua, the private person that he is, wants to be involved in whatsoever. And from what he says, there's a few other Dolphins that, kind of cold on the idea. Take a listen.
Will do their best, and her team will do their best to help, keep a lot of us out of trouble. So, yeah.
For you, is it more this is just another obligation I'm going to have, or is it you just don't like camera that much?
I'm just not a big attention guy. I understand it comes with the territory, and I am able to use my platform, for bigger things. But as far as me doing something silly purposefully, outside of football, I don't know, it's just different for me. I like to keep things private in how I do things, but this isn't just about me. This isn't something that's for me. This is something for the entire team, and the entire team has to figure out how they go about that as well. So I know having conversations with some guys in the locker room that, for them it's going to be tough as well. So we're all going to work through this together.
It's a shame that they have to, quote, work through it. It's a shame that the NFL thrust this on the Dolphins and said, basically, you got to take it. I doubt any of the guys, well, maybe a few, but I doubt most of the guys in the locker room want this kind of distraction midway through the season. You got to go to Germany and play. You got to come back from Germany. You got to face the Cowboys. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts to just want to make this team, force this team into doing Hard Knocks in season. I don't think this series Hard Knocks has much longer to go at all. So many teams are like, hey, I'm done with this. I'm done with you sticking a camera in my face. I'm not that guy. I'm not letting you in my house. I'm not going to go have dinner or play miniature golf so you can film me. I'm not interested. And as a professional football player, you should have the option to go, I pass. I think it's wrong for the NFL to push this on guys. It's bad enough that you force them to do post-game interviews. It's bad. You guys remember Marshawn Lynch? Marshawn Lynch would go to interviews, just sit there. I'm only here because they'll find me. Yep, I'm only here because they make me come. You want that kind of attitude? That doesn't make for good television. And then you're going to make stuff up. Like Tua said, I don't want to do something out of character just for good television. That tells me everything you need to know. I don't want to do something out of character just for good television. No, I don't go to clubs. I'm not a bar guy. Nope, I don't do that. I'm not sorry, I can't do it. You want to film us bowling? Okay, we go once in a while. You can film us bowling. That's fun. But I'm not doing any of the crazy stuff I've seen some of these guys do on Hard Knocks. Just not going to happen. So let me know what you think about Tua being a one-read quarterback, and if the defenses are really going to scheme that way, what do you think Mike McDaniel can do to overcome that? And also let me know what you think about Jalen Ramsey finally coming back, and how much you expect to see him play, and how much can the offensive line take? Another injury, and these guys are toast. Let me know what you think, and stay tuned for the next block.
actually the one that's basically reporting on his health to the media, which I find to be peculiar.
Everyone else with a medical opinion just clears him pretty much. I mean, it's like, well, it's kind of similar to this. You get a kid who gets a trust fund, right? $230 million. Then he's like, hey, you want to go out and get a job? He's like, not really. No. I've got $230 million coming. I'm good. That's what it kind of feels like. Like it's human nature, by the way, too. For if you won the lotto and you end up netting $230 million, because we always talk about the Powerball and all that, like you'd probably be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm probably not gonna do this anymore, right?
So you're saying I don't have to really play anymore? That's what we're saying, Deshaun.
And look, Stefanski was saying afterwards that he was cleared of the concussion they checked him for a concussion. He was cleared, and then it was Stefanski that just decided not to put him in the game because he wanted to protect his franchise quarterback, which were the words, "I want to protect my franchise quarterback." It's like, okay, then why did he suit up? Like, if that's the case, why is he playing at all?
Hey man, the Browns are going to make a run with PJ Walker starting as their quarterback for the majority of this year, and their $230 million starting quarterback on the bench.
Chilling. The trust fund baby just chilling.
That's an expensive backup quarterback.
Hey, while you can have whatever opinion you may want to have on it, he has maybe single-handedly ruined the opportunity of any other player ever. Ever getting. And I mean ever.
Every owner's like, Exhibit A. This is exactly why we're not giving you guaranteed money.
When I said don't ever come around here again, like never, ever come around here again asking for a guaranteed contract.
So I'm not sure if you're up early in the morning and you listen to Drive Time Radio, but there's a show on Fox Sports Radio, and it's with Jonah Knox, LeVar Arrington, and Brady Quinn, and it's called Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. And they said something about Deshaun Watson that is definitely going to have some impact on Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa, who's playing in an option year, who's looking for the big bag at the end of the year, who didn't get it last year, and he's hoping to pick up, that $250 million contract. I'm going to say it right now. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Stephen Ross ain't going to do it. I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson, who ushered in all the big contracts for guys like Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and he got all these guys huge money following what he did, has now closed the door behind him. His actions, Deshaun Watson's actions, have made guaranteed big dollar contracts completely obsolete. Danger zone. He has proven at this point that giving somebody that kind of money doesn't really do anything for the organization. It does great for the player. Deshaun Watson is the highest paid part-time football player ever. $230 million guaranteed whether he stubs his toe or throws a touchdown. Doesn't matter. They've got PJ Walker coming in to guide the ship until Deshaun Watson feels better. To think, at one point, the Miami Dolphins wanted to bring Deshaun Watson in over Tua Tagovailoa. Man, did they dodge a bullet. But unfortunately for Tua, that bullet bounced off a couple walls, came back, and is coming right back at the Dolphins. I don't think Tua could throw for 6,000 yards and 70 touchdowns and win a Super Bowl and would still get that kind of a guaranteed contract. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the owners sit back now and go, let's go ahead and just flip this back to where it was. We'll negotiate a good deal with you. We'll pay you a ton of money. It ain't guaranteed. I'll give you a $250 million deal. I'll give you a $300 million deal. It ain't guaranteed. I mean, we'll give you, I don't know, let's see, we'll give you 60 million guaranteed. Not 300. Ain't going to happen. It's over. That door has been closed. Deshaun Watson has single-handedly destroyed the same opportunity that he got for himself and a few other guys. Everybody who's looking at this go, wait a minute, this guy's got $230 million and he's not playing and we can't make him play and we still have to pay him? Yep. There's no clause that says, if he does X, Y, or Z, we can cut. Nope. Guaranteed means guaranteed. It means so if he gets hurt, he gets paid. Yes. If he goes out and gets some more, rubbing tugs, I don't know. Maybe they have a moral turpitude clause in there. That might be the way they get out of it. But if he's a good boy and just says, I don't feel good this weekend, shoulder kind of hurts, man. I'm not playing. Yep, gonna pay him. Throws 5 interceptions in a game, you bench him, you're gonna pay him. Gets a concussion, wants to take 3 or 4 weeks off, make sure he's healed, even though the doctors say he's okay, doesn't matter, pay me. You understand where this is going? Like Brady Quinn said, at this point, right now, there is no medical staff that's going to clear Deshaun Watson. The only person who's going to clear Deshaun Watson to play is Deshaun Watson. He's got all the leverage. He's calling all the shots, and he can do whatever he wants within the parameters of that contract. I'm sure he, his agent, his lawyers have all looked at this and go, yes, you can do this, yes, you, and they know what he can get away with. $230 million guaranteed, whether he plays or not. That's what the word guaranteed means. Guaranteed. I'm sure there's some clauses in there that says you have to be upstanding and you can't do anything criminal and you can't do this, you can't do that. So if I know what I can't do, everything else is okay. I'm going to get paid. Is that what you're telling me, Mr. Lawyer? Yeah, you have a guaranteed contract. Stefanski and the guys from the Cleveland Browns gave you a blank check, basically. So if I feel like my arm's not feeling good or something, I can just sit out no matter what the doctor says. Yeah, you understand. The doctors from the Cleveland Browns have medically cleared Deshaun Watson to play. Deshaun Watson said, I don't really care. It just feels kind of tight, and I'm just not playing. I can't risk it because I don't feel well. The Browns can't do anything. So you're Stephen Ross. You're sitting back, and Stephen Ross is looking at Tua and said, Tua, you're a great guy. You're one of the best men I've ever met. You've been a great captain. You threw for 6,000 yards. You got Tyreek's record of 2,000 yards receiving. You threw for 55 touchdowns. You broke Dan Marino's record. I don't know what else I can say. There's no accolades more than I can say for you. You've won the MVP. But we can't give you a guaranteed contract. And I don't think you can go anywhere else and get one either. That's what's going to happen. Let me put this, that's what looks like is going to happen moving forward. I think the whole era of guaranteed contracts is out the window solely because of the guy who ushered them in. Just think of yourself as a business person. You're sitting there across the table from somebody, having seen what happened with Deshaun Watson. You love Tua. You are a card-carrying member of Tuanon. You are just one of his biggest fans. You're basically Nick Hicks personified. You love Tua. But you also run $1 billion business, and you have to make business decisions. And those business decisions are, we're going to give you a huge contract. We love having you as our franchise quarterback. I just can't guarantee it. That's off the table. We're going to go back to how things were. We're going to offer you $250, $275, $290 million, and we're going to make it $50 million guaranteed. And if you're hurt and you can't play, you don't get the rest. If your performance suffers and we want to waive you, you don't get the rest. And whatever else we need to put in here, lightning strikes you and you can't play, you don't get the rest. You can buy an insurance policy, but we're not the insurance policy. We can't give you $300 million guaranteed. Just can't happen. Sorry. Well, I'm not going to sign. I'm going to go look elsewhere. All right, let me know how that goes. Because I can guarantee you, Tua, this is probably the best deal you're going to get. I don't think there's anybody out here anymore giving away guaranteed contracts. So if you like living here, if you like the situation here, if you love your teammates, you love the locker room, we're going to pay you big money, but it's going to have codicils and different kind of requirements and qualifications in order for you to fulfill that contract. We're going to give you a huge signing bonus. We'll give you like an Aaron Rodgers type signing bonus. We'll give you 60, 70 million up front. Not going to give you 300 million. I can't do it. I can't possibly do it. I've seen what has happened thus far, and I could not imagine being on the hook for $230 million guaranteed for a player who doesn't want to play or can't play. I don't think Tua, the kind of man he is, would ever get into a position where he would hold the team hostage and just not play. That ain't gonna happen. He's too ethical and stand-up of a guy. But injury is a different story. Injury, maybe Mike McDaniel gets a huge contract and he moves on and he doesn't have that next offensive coordinator he wants. Mike McDaniel's basically the offensive coordinator. I know Frank Smith is there, but it's Mike McDaniel's offense. There's too many variables. Too many variables at this point based upon what Deshaun Watson has done to give you $300 million, regardless of how well you perform. Just can't do it. I'm a businessman. I understand. I don't even build a condominium complex if I don't know I have so many of the units pre-sold. The risk is too great. Now, if you perform, hey, we're going to incentivize this contract to the max. You might be able to make $350, but it ain't guaranteed, bud. I can't do it. I think Tua, the type of man that he is, will say, that's good. Give me 270, 280 in the contract. Give me 70 of it guaranteed, and we'll play based on performance. I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in my team, and I'm set for life with my family and my children anyway. I don't need 300 million guaranteed. I'll earn it. Deshaun Watson ain't earning it. Deshaun Watson has closed the door behind him and made a farce of the NFL ownership by having people get 270, 280. Look at Justin Herbert this year. Didn't they give him like $265 million guaranteed? Look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got like $280 million guaranteed. They're stinking up the joint. They're absolutely stinking up the joint. In their first year of the contract, their first year of their big money contract, the only one who's performing is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's like, you gave me the money, I'm gonna go out here and play. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, not so much. Not so much. Even Josh Allen isn't really looking like a $300 million. How many players out there look like a $300 million guaranteed player? Look at Aaron Rodgers. $70 million bonus up front. Here we go. First series of the season done. Can you imagine if it wasn't someone like Aaron Rodgers who has that intestinal fortitude to say, I'm coming back? If he had a $230 million contract like Deshaun Watson, he could have said, I'm done. I got hurt. I'm done. That's it. Game over. Pay me. All $230 million. Pay me. It's guaranteed. As a business owner, you can't possibly take that risk. And I know LeVar Arrington was laughing his ass off there, but he's absolutely right. At this point, Deshaun Watson closed the door behind him, and I don't think any owner anywhere would be stupid enough, to give somebody some huge guaranteed contract, given what they see this year alone with Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert. Sorry, Tua, you're going to get paid. It ain't going to be guaranteed. Let me know what you think. You think I'm off my rocker? You guys let me know what you think about guaranteed contracts moving forward now that you see the entire Deshaun Watson saga unfold. Stay tuned for the next block.
Mr. Pfizer, we kind of shut him down a little bit. He didn't have, his like crazy impact game. Obviously, he had, some yards and stuff, but I felt like for the most part, we played really tough on defense, especially the last 3 quarters, and that was important for us.
And you, how good did that feel coming out, Mr. Pfizer? You've been planning on that?
No, I mean, he's doing commercials for Pfizer, so I'm sure he's owning it.
Mr. Pfizer, he pops that in.
So good.
When did he come up with it? When did it hit his head? Like, when did it hit his brain? He's like, yep, here we go.
All right, I'm saving that one for Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And then he couldn't wait to.
Yeah.
We did well against Pat. He threw those 2 picks, and then obviously we limited Mr. Pfizer, and then he just kept it moving.
Oh, yeah.
The delivery was very solid. It wasn't like Mr. Pfizer. Reaction?
Yeah. Okay, good.
He knew he had to just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going, just let us just digest it as he kept speaking like anyone could hear what he was saying after he said that.
Go ahead.
Shockingly, people either find that very funny or very not funny.
What?
Oh,
no!
You don't say.
Are you serious?
You don't say.
Oh!
You have to wonder. Aaron Rodgers has been a magnet for attention for the last couple of years, and ever since he's been going on Pat McAfee's show, it's really caused even that much of an uproar. Everybody knows he didn't take the jab, wouldn't take the jab, didn't care what anybody thought about the jab. He was going to heal and protect himself his way, period. People made fun of him. Some people actually hated him for that. People couldn't believe that an NFL quarterback would somehow decide to do what he wanted to do. He was going to be his own man. And so he did. And then he took on Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, who is supposed to be the preeminent guy in the world about telling you how to live your life. He basically said, screw you, Fauci. Screw it. Not going to do it. ESPN decides to sign Pat McAfee to a huge contract, $80 million, $100 million, whatever. And they ended up putting him on a delay so they could beep out stuff that he said. That was the first indication I had that something was going awry. And now it looks like ESPN may not keep Pat McAfee on the air, which I'm sure he doesn't care. You're still going to have to pay him. I'm sure he's got a hefty guarantee in that clause. His contract. I'm sure he's got a buyout in his contract, and there won't be any shortage of suitors, but there seems to be some, groundswell about getting Pat McAfee off of ESPN. So The Athletic decided to run a poll and see what people think about Pat McAfee being on ESPN, and the results were stunning. Now, I understand, I don't know what the demo is of the people who read The Athletic. I don't read The Athletic. Not sure who it's comprised of. It's mostly, libs and jab fanatics or whatever. But the results that they polled were quite stunning. So we're going to go over that, and we're going to take a look at the results that they showed. So Chris Vanini, who is one of the senior writers of The Athletic, reported about the poll results they had regarding Pat McAfee. It says, how do you feel about Pat McAfee on College Game Day? Our readers are very mixed. I don't watch Game Day anymore solely because of Pat McAfee, one person said. I think Pat McAfee adds a great energy to Game Day, and I don't understand the hate for him at all. And then he shows the actual results of the poll. Here's the question. How do you feel about Pat McAfee on College Game Day? Like it? 30%. Don't like it? 48%. No opinion? 21%. So based on the poll of The Athletic, only 30% of the people who watch College Football Game Day want Pat McAfee on it. Stunning. The most polarizing question of the survey about one of the most polarizing people in sports media today, I don't know why he's polarizing. Is it because he has Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday? Other than that, there's nothing polarizing about Pat McAfee. ESPN has gone all in on McAfee with his weekly show broadcast and game day spot. Last summer, when readers were asked who should replace Lee Corso when the time came, McAfee was the leading vote getter, although it was a plurality and not a majority. But I've anecdotally seen a lot of complaints from friends and fans. Who are your friends? I mean, it all depends on who you ask. The entire show's mini feud with Washington State about Lee Corso's comments and the response from McAfee and Howard, Desmond Howard, rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way and led Big Noon Kickoff to open its arms to Washington State flag a few weeks ago. Who cares? It's going to tick somebody off somewhere. Why do you care about that? But of course, Pat McAfee's not going to let that just sit there and hang there with people basically 70% not being fans of him even being on game day, he responded. He said, "This has been brought to my attention more than a few times over the last few days. I've never been friends with a human that reads The Athletic, so I'm not 100% sure what style of human these 3,100 folks are." Okay, so let me explain that. Their sample size was 3,100 people, which is a decent sample size for a survey. Pat McAfee says, "Who are these 3,100 people? I've never met anyone who reads The Athletic." Neither have I. I've never met anyone who says, "Yeah, I subscribe to The Athletic," who actually pay to go beyond the paywall at The Athletic. So he hits on something there. He goes, "Huge shout out to the 30%. Hell yeah. If that's my audience, if 30% are the people who want to see me, I'm going to cater to that 30%. Like it or not, that's who I want to talk to." Now he addresses the other 49% who say they don't want him on game day. To the 49%, I have some great news. I have heard you all very loud and clear since the beginning of my stint with game day. It's one of the biggest reasons, here it comes, why I have not re-signed a contract with the legendary show. Wow. I'm not right for some crowds, and the distinguished college folks are definitely one of those. He continues, "Excited to enjoy the rest of this year that's shaping up to be a great one, and then we'll see what the future holds. It's been an absolute blast and an honor to be at the desk and to work with the fine folks of that family," talking about College Game Day. "It's also been really fun to work 7 days a week for the last 2 football seasons. Nice reminder that I'm still a effing dog. The dumbest life of all time shall roll on. Let's have a great NFL Sunday. Cheers." So Pat McAfee is basically telling his haters, stick it. I don't care. I'm having fun. I'm living the life I want to live. And I don't even care if I'm not here next year. It doesn't matter to me. If you guys don't want me on College Game Day, then fine. I'm out. ESPN's tanking as it is now. ESPN is absolutely a dumpster fire. They've got one of the most popular people in all of digital media on their shows, and you got some nimby-limby athletic website who I've never even read their stories, saying that basically 70% of the people really don't care about Pat McAfee. Okay, what is that supposed to mean? You're telling me you're willing to cut one of the most popular people on television and online, who gets millions of views per month because 70% of the Athletics survey results say they don't want him? I love what Pat said. If you don't want it, I'm gone. I don't care. I'm done. Doesn't matter to me. But then that means ESPN should probably cut a few more people. So in their study, they continue to rank the different hosts on ESPN. Now remember, 30% of the people are the ones who say they like Pat McAfee on game day. Check out these stats. Who's your favorite broadcast announcer team? Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, 38%. And then everything below here, in terms of announcers, is way below that of Pat McAfee. Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt, Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Sean McDonough, and Greg McElroy, ESPN. Bob Wischusen and Robert Griffin III, 3%. And down at the bottom, Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer, 2.9%. So I guess you're going to have to clear out your entire broadcast host network. Nobody gives a crap. They don't care. They don't like anybody. So if I'm Pat McAfee, I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, the money's nice, but you're going to have to pay me this big buyout contract. I know how much you gave Keyshawn Johnson to walk away from his show with Max Kellerman. I think they paid Keyshawn something in the neighborhood of $18 million just to say goodbye. And of course, he picks up another gig with Undisputed. And now Pat McAfee, you're like, you're going to use this for a basis to get rid of me? Go for it. I don't care. I haven't re-signed a contract yet. You know why? Because I want to be where people want me. I want to be where people enjoy what I'm saying. And he understands at this point that, you know, television is fluid and that ESPN's in trouble. And you don't like that Aaron Rodgers is on my show speaking whatever he wants to say. And he's going after Fauci and he's making fun of the jab. Oh my God, he can't say that on TV. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he can say what he wants. He's a grown-ass man. If the NFL can't shut him up, ESPN definitely can't shut him up. So Pat McAfee, I don't know how much longer he's going to be on ESPN, but I won't shed a tear because everything he does seems to work for him. If ESPN doesn't like him, bye. I'm sure FS1 will come calling really quickly. Or he may just say, you know, I'm happy doing my own thing. I'm happy doing this YouTube thing. I'm doing millions of views. We're making so much money. I had sponsors out there with Zoo. I got the WWE. He doesn't need ESPN. Unfortunately, ESPN needs Pat McAfee. They may not think so, but we've seen the balance sheets. We see what's happening on ESPN. Pat McAfee is bigger than ESPN. Just gonna say it, gonna put it out there right now. ESPN, although some of the viewers don't like it, they need him much more than he needs them. And it's a proof in terms of, I guarantee you, if he went off the air on ESPN, he wouldn't miss a beat. He wouldn't skip a beat. His audience would probably actually get bigger on YouTube from the people he's garnered who hadn't seen him before, who would now follow him just to YouTube. Smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to build his brand. And I think the whole ESPN escapade was to open him up to a larger market, get that 30% that maybe not following him on YouTube, who will now follow him on YouTube if he's let go from ESPN. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. You like Pat McAfee, or you think ESPN should do without him? Me personally, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna watch Pat when I feel like watching him, and it has nothing to do with game day. Stick around for the next block.
Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion, as great as he is, would not be an MVP candidate if it were not for you. I love Jalen Waddle, but guess what? As the #1 option on the squad, if you were not there, along with Barry and those boys, I don't believe he would be MVP.
A lot of people have asked me, what do I think about this dust-up between Tyreek Hill and Stephen A. Smith? Well, what I think about it is it's good entertainment. These guys are both showmen. Stephen A. Smith, probably arguably one of the ultimate showmen in sports, and Tyreek Hill is proving himself to be quite the showman as well. As they said in the movie Gladiator, are you not entertained? Because that's all this is. It's a complete BS. Neither one of these guys are going at each other head to head. It's all BS. It drives clicks, which everybody drives clicks, so I don't understand why people have a problem with it. It keeps the trolls, you know, from the Miami Dolphins fan base all excited, and they think he's going after Stephen A. And then Stephen A. comes back and goes after him. One thing I learned a long time ago in marketing, back in music, my music promotion days, you never pick a fight with anybody, whether it be a person or company, who buys ink by the barrel. And what that means is when you have an entity that has a massive audience, there's nothing you're going to win. There's no fight you can win by picking a fight with them. They are going to beat the hell out of you. The only thing you can possibly do is fake a fight, turn everything into a WWE type of attraction, and then see how you both can profit. That's what's going on with Tyreek and Stephen A. It is an entertainment enterprise. These two guys have figured out, well, Stephen A. figured out a long time ago, but Tyreek has now figured out, hey, maybe I can tap into this and see what I can do. So listen to what the two of them have had to say. Now, do you really believe that? I know as a Dolphins fan, you probably believe that. You probably think he doesn't know what he's talking about. You probably think, I don't know, maybe Adam Schefter doesn't know what he's talking about. You probably think Mina Kimes doesn't know what she's talking about. She's been off the air. Oh, that's right, she's having a baby. But it's easy to pick on these sports journos out there because it's entertaining. It makes for good tweets, X's, whatever you want to call them, repost. But you don't really believe that, Tyreek. You don't really believe that.
You feel me? Like, he's a basketball guy. So for him to be able to say that I'm not, you know what I'm saying, what did you say he said?
That should have never been posted. That right there tells you everything you need to know. If this is such a feud, and Tyreek saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, and then he has to ask his compadre there, what did he actually say again? You don't even remember what he said. Dude, you're not filling your role in this Abbott and Costello skit that's going on here. If you don't even know what he said to piss you off, that means you don't really care what he said to piss you off. You're just playing a role. That's okay, though. Let's keep up with the entertainment here and understand. I just called him out. I guess that's the new era of basically getting somebody's attention, somebody to click, somebody to respond, keep the feud going, keep interest going. I called him out. So, of course, you called him out. So what did you expect would happen if you, quote, call Stephen A out? Well, he's going to respond.
I tell you something. There are certain things that blow me away. I sit up there on First Take on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We've had the #1 show for damn near 12 years. And we're doing the show 2 hours a day, live. It's not taped. It's live. And we're live. We're talking about an abundance of sports, an abundance of issues. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 5 shows a week, okay? For 45 weeks a year, minimum. Mm-hmm. Do the math. It's 225 shows a year. Live.
I don't think enough people understand, because what they often see on Twitter, even my stuff here, I've got recorded stuff and I have live stuff. Live stuff is extremely hard. You have to be nimble. You have to be able to think quick. You have to be entertaining. You have to continue to have facts at your disposal. You're listening to someone speak in your ear as well if you do mess something up. It is extremely hard. That many live shows, then it goes on repeat after that. But once it's out there, and you can't pull it back.
Unedited, no tape delay, no cover, no anything. And I sit up there and I speak out of pocket about one issue. And not only do we have some trolls out there and fools out there trying to undress me, I must not watch football. When I get paid, I watch all of these things, but that's okay.
He's talking about you, Tuanon. He's talking about you, Miami Dolphins fans. You are known throughout the industry as basically trolls at this point. You have nothing to do but just go ahead and go after anybody who says anything negative about Tua. Watch yourselves, because people like him, they can do more damage than good. Just luckily he and Tyreek are, in my mind, are play acting here. But I would definitely watch out.
Okay. I've been watching it for years. My resume as a sports reporter speaks for itself. But not only that, one of the people getting at me is the person I was complimenting.
I don't think people realize that. They were so blinded by the fact that you said something negative about Tua that you completely didn't even listen to the fact that he was absolutely complimenting Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. How does all of this start? What am I talking about? First of all, it's very simple. In talking about the greatness of Tyreek Hill and how electrifying he is, you would have thought I pimp slapped him.
You would have. The fact that Tyreek Hill had to run to Tua's defense, and along with the Tuanon crowd, is just beyond the pale. It's beyond comprehension. If Tua was insulted, that'd be one thing. But it was Tyreek who decided he was going to pipe in. Again, choreographed.
That I insulted him and his crew somehow. I'm talking about he the best. I think he the best in the world. And because of that, on his podcast, his response to that is, Stephen A. must not watch football. Because I broke.
I love that because I always get that. You don't know ball. I'm like, oh, you're one of those people. I got it. That's right. You're one of those I don't know ball nuts from Twitter.
Brought up about Tua Tagovailoa, his quarterback. 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completing about 71% of his passes this season thus far. And now Tua, all he's got to do is just dunk it 2 yards and boom. But before I go any further, listen to this, please. 114 receiving yards, 6 touchdown catches, 19.4 yards per catch. There's been 14 games this season where a player had at least 150 receiving yards in a game. The brother Tyreek Hill has 40. 40. Now, let me tell y'all something right now. I don't know if y'all watching Miami enough. All of these passes, 8 for 19, 20, 30, 40 yards. You just got Tua dipping it 2 yards to him, and he the one taking it to the house. He the one going 20.
By the way, when he says that some of these analysts don't know what they're talking about, there's 2 guys on set with him laughing in the background. Shannon Sharp, Hall of Famer, and Jeff Saturday as well.
30, 40, 50 yards. This brother, and I call him the Dame Dollar of the NFL. I mean, he when he's running for a touchdown, he's waving goodbye to defenders. This is what he's doing before he throws it. But that's after waving goodbye. If I misquoted people as much as I am misquoted.
And I understand that too. I can't tell you how many people look at my videos and they hear something completely different. They hear something completely different than what I said. And then they'll go tweet about Barry said this. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. You want to go ahead and find the minute mark of the video and show me where I actually said that? Well, you really said it though. No, I didn't say that. What I said was X. What you're saying is Y. I never said what you said. They misquote all the time.
I wouldn't have a job. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not literally trying to imply that all Tua does is throw 2-yard or 3-yard passes. I know he throws the long ball. I know he's got a mid-range game. He throws it between the seams. I know he hits dudes on fly patterns. I know he hits dudes on slant patterns. I know what the brother can do. He was an accurate passer coming out of Alabama. He's been an accurate passer since he's been in the National Football League. In the games that he starts when he's healthy, he wins football games. He's 26-14 as a starter in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill pointed that out when he departed from Kansas City and arrived in Miami. He said this brother's going to rival Patrick Mahomes. And if it wasn't for him getting concussed all the damn time like he did about 4 times last year, I count 4 personally, then he probably would.
You know, that's going to piss him off as well, that he said, I count 4.
Tua's great. But that's not what I was saying. When they talked about the league MVP and they said it was Tua, I understand, Tyreek Hill, you want to come to the aid of your team. You want to come to the aid of your boy. You know, Michael Parsons just did that the other day for Dak Prescott. Bravo. It's so touching. So touching to see how y'all hug and sing kumbaya for one another. And y'all...
It's so touching that y'all want to sing kumbaya for each other. I was dying when I was listening to this.
Come to each other's defense. I get it. Nobody is saying Tua Tagovailoa can't play. Matter of fact, I think y'all going to go to the Super Bowl. I hope you do. I've said I think you're going to go to the Super Bowl. I want you to go to the Super Bowl because I think you're the most exciting offense in football. Mike McDaniel's a phenomenal play caller. Tua Tagovailoa is a phenomenal quarterback. But you, Tyreek Hill, are the difference maker.
And that's a problem I think a lot of people don't understand. It's not being nasty. It's not being anti-Tua to say that Tyreek Hill is actually the MVP of the team. Tua is getting the ball to Tyreek, regardless if it's a 2-yarder or a 60-yarder. Tyreek is a difference maker. I can feel very confident saying there aren't many defenses that get up in the morning and say, man, what are we going to do about this kid Tua? He's something we really have to worry about. But I guarantee you, every single defensive coordinator who has the Dolphins on the schedule goes, what are we going to do about this dude Tyreek, man? We can't do anything with him. Philadelphia Eagles found out. They double-teamed him. He blew past the double team like it wasn't even there. Just split it. Touchdown. Yeah, they ended up trading the guy the next day who got burnt. But in any event, Tyreek cannot be stopped. He can be contained. He cannot be stopped.
I am sitting up here defending myself because evidently I was insulting to a player I consider to be the best in the world at his position. So much so that I sat up there and said, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Dan Orlovsky brought up on ESPN Thursday, Calvin Johnson. I said the way Tyreek Hill looks right now, can we definitively say that we would want any other receiver aside from him right now, the way he looks in NFL history? That's how electrifying I think. And because of that, that's why I'm on the microphone right now in front of the cameras having to defend myself. Because I was complimentary.
Choreographed or not, the dude, in addition to being a good sportscaster, is an amazing entertainer. He is so funny, talking about how Tyreek overreacted to his compliments on the game that Tyreek Hill is playing.
You can't make this shit up. So allow me to elaborate.
Oh my God.
And to clarify. Of course, Tua Tagovailoa throws the ball down the field. Of course, all he does is not throw slant to screen passes or anything like that, or 2-yard pass. That's not what I was trying to imply, Tyreek Hill. What I was trying to imply is that that's all he would have to do when it comes to having the likes of you.
See, I don't think a lot of people understand that. People, if you haven't seen 4.2 speed up close and personal, you don't realize what kind of weapon Tyreek Hill is. When people say any quarterback can play in this offense, and I know Mike McDaniel went to bat and saying, no, not every, well, he didn't say that. He just said Tua is perfect for this offense. He didn't say nobody else can play in it. But if you have Tyreek on the field, and Waddle, and Berrios, and Said, and all, if you have that kind of talent on the field, I forgot what's his name, Devon Achane, then yeah, you don't have to throw the ball 60 yards downfield. You could throw the ball 5 or 10 yards and then have it taken the rest of the way. Not that you're doing it all the time, that you have the luxury of doing it.
Because you could take a 3-yard pass and take it to the house. I'm fully aware that every ball you caught was the deep ball last year against the Carolina Panthers last weekend. I'm fully aware. You didn't do that against Buffalo.
Oh God, he's spitting fact. He is spitting 100% fact. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's fact.
Well, y'all got blitzed 48-20, but that's a different subject for another day, because I think you'll get him back when you see him in Miami. Or outside of Miami, because y'all about 30 minutes outside of Miami. That's not my point. My point is, you run 24 miles an hour. You're the cheater. I call you the Dame Dollar of the NFL. You're the one dude that's scoring touchdowns and waving goodbye to people and doing deuces while you're doing it. You're that phenomenal. And because you're that phenomenal, this is all Tua has to do. Mm-hmm. If it came down to that, because you could do the rest. That's how much I believe in you. That's all I was trying to say. I didn't mean to be taken literally, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't mean to be taken literally. Is that what y'all do now? Mm-hmm. Y'all respond to these trolls on social media who create headlines to get clicks? Mm-hmm. Is that what you do?
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. Nailed it.
That's not what I meant. And I would think that somebody that's on the air 2 hours a day, every weekday, 10 hours a week, a minimum of 4,500, that's 4,500 hours a year, live. I wouldn't have to say everything so literal. When I say somebody passes gas and they smell like they try to act like it's perfume, do you really think I meant that they passing gas?
Or that they smell like perfume?
Really? Really? Come on, y'all. That's what we doing now? Mm-hmm. And this is the only time it happened. This is the only time it's happened to me.
That's his mistake. His mistake is these nuts don't allow you to joke around about Tua. It's completely off limits. The left arm of God cannot be touched, cannot be joked about in any way, shape, or fashion. Do not tread upon the left arm of God.
Is that what we're coming to?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're coming to? Where we got to sit up there and be literal and specific?
Yep, absolutely. I'm sick of it myself. I'm absolutely sick of it. If you have an opinion, you should be able to voice your opinion just as other people are able to voice their opinion. It doesn't mean that someone is completely absolute. There is no talking about Tua. There is no criticizing Tua. You're not a fan if you criticize Tua. You're not a real fan, whatever the hell that means, if you criticize Tua. As I've always said, respect when earned, criticism when deserved.
With every freaking syllable that comes out of our mouth, you know good and damn well, Tyreek, that I did not mean to imply that all you do is catch slant patterns or screen passes rather than you take it to the house. I've seen you do it, but that ain't all you do. You are electrifying. I think you're the best in the world right now. I didn't expect to have to come to my own defense because I was being complimentary. Stephen A. doesn't watch football? Really? How many people's talking about football 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, throughout the year? How many people talking about basketball? Of course, I don't see every damn game because I'm watching most games. I only got 2 damn eyes. Am I supposed to, you think the college football analysts, that they watch every team in the country? You think those NFL analysts, they go and watch every single game at the same time? How many games are on at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? How many games are on at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? I got about 7 damn TVs in my crib. I can have a different game on each TV. I still can't watch them all and see every freaking play because I only got 2 eyes. I catch what I can.
Oh my God.
Like everyone else does.
Everyone else does. Nobody watches every single game every single week. It doesn't. I don't even watch it every single minute of a game when it's on a national televised broadcast like Sunday night or Thursday night football. You know why? I have a life. I have a life. I have a wife. I have a dog. I have things going on. I'm not going to spend every single minute just watching this game. It's just not going to happen.
But to sit up there and to say, I don't watch, as if I don't put in the work, brother, I'm not going to go through my resume again. Ask Podcast P. Check out the archives of the Stephen A. Smith Show when I was live from Vegas. Leading in to the Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford fight, when I had to break down what the hell my resume is and how I earned the right to get here and how I'm always watching games. I'm always digging. I'm always doing my reporting. I'm always doing my commentary. Check my resume. Google me, dog.
There's a reason why he's basically the highest paid sports journal out there. And it's not because of fact-based reporting. He's an entertainer. As soon as people understand that sports journals, for the most part, even the Miami beat writers out there, are entertainers. They try to present stuff to you in a fashion that you can, read and understand. But the whole thing about he's just doing it for clicks. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Everybody, and I mean everybody in capitalized letters, everybody that posts anything, a video, a tweet, an X, a podcast, everybody who puts out content is doing so solely, no other reason, solely for a click. If people don't understand that now, they're idiots. It's solely for a click, to get you to watch and listen to their opinion. Thankfully, a bunch of you guys are probably watching this right now.
And mean it literally. Of course, Tua does more than that. I was making the point that's all he has to do. Because he has you. Because you're that great. That's all I was saying. But I get this to you, Tyreek. You sound special. Not just as a talented wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner like you used to do back in the day. But you're also talented at this podcast stuff because how the hell?
Bingo. Now it leads into, in my mind, what's really going on. Tyreek is building his numbers. He's building his clicks. He's smart enough to know that he's got 1 million subscribers, I believe, and that he's making a ton of money on YouTube. The more he gets, the more he can basically get his brand up there, the more he's going to be able to do after football. It's all entertainment.
Do you twist such an incredible accomplishment into something negative? Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion, as great as he is, would not be an MVP candidate if it were not for you.
Come on. Boom. Tua would not be in discussion for an MVP candidate if not for Tyreek Hill being on the Miami Dolphins. End of story. That's 100% correct. Do you know how many people freaked out this week when they thought that Tyreek Hill might not be able to play? He was left off of the active list on a couple practices, but he had to come out today and say he's playing on Sunday. There were even beat writers who were like, oh, we got to see this. We got to see Tyreek not be on the field. What will Tua do without Tyreek? Everybody understands, everybody with half a brain understands what Stephen A just said. Tua is in discussion for MVP because of Tyreek Hill.
I love Jalen Waddle, but guess what? As the number one option on the squad, if you were not there, along with Barry and those boys, I don't believe he would be MVP.
Hard to argue against that. Just look at the numbers. Hard to argue against that.
I think Patrick Mahomes, as phenomenally great as he is, in part was an MVP because of you. That's what I believe. Even though he won the Super Bowl and MVP without you. That's what I believe.
I love the quick digs he gives. Quick digs right like that. Hey, Patrick won it without you. You haven't won one.
But I never thought I'd have to defend myself on that, bro. That's new. I didn't see that one coming. Love Tua, respect Tua. Man won a national championship for Alabama after Nick Saban benched Jalen Hurts because it had an awful first half. That's how you won the championship against Georgia, because Tua came to the rescue. I know what Tua can do. I'm just saying, you that dude. Damn. When I gotta defend that. If Tua came out and said this, I understand. You? How much more complimentary can I be? No good deed goes unpunished, I guess. Deuces. Deuces.
So, the reason I'm saying this is entertainment, because I really, really want it to be entertainment. I hoped he hasn't poked the bear and Stephen A. Smith and the rest of the media are going to go after Tyreek and Tua. But I have another reason why I think this is all entertainment. After all of this hoopla, after all this back and forth and bickering, guess what's happening? Tyreek has invited Stephen A. Smith onto his podcast, and Stephen A. Smith has agreed to go on his podcast. Are you not entertained? Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this fake family feud and what's been going on with Stephen A. and Tyreek. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.